to you, 9,500.
My name is Joan Waite. I'm a philanthropist, real estate developer.
We're good. Perfect.
This is my story.
What's wrong with being confident?
It literally exploded. It was the fastest growing company in North America.
This girl is on fire.
I think you have to go out with a bang.
It's funny how people think domestic violence doesn't affect all walks of life. I come from a family of 3 sisters and a brother. My brother being the oldest, I'm second to the youngest. My father raised 5 kids under the age of 6 when my mother died. I was 2 years old. So being the Lebanese side of the family and the German side of the family, typically the godparents kind of step in and kind of take over. My dad didn't really allow that, which is really very unusual for, I'm 58 years old, so 56 years old, that he just kind of closed the doors on the Lebanese world, because it was very typical for them to kind of split everybody up, which would have been all 5 of us kids somewhere else. And that wasn't something he was about to do. My grandparents stepped in on both sides, Lebanese, German, stepped in on both sides to help. And so that made a huge amount of difference in my upbringing. I was a very fortunate young girl, even though we were extremely poor family. I really didn't realize it till I was like 16 years old. There was a lot of love in my family. My father worked extremely hard. Family was everything. My brothers and sisters and I are very close. My father is still alive, obviously. He's 87 years old. So I consider myself very fortunate having one parent. I don't know what it would be like to have 2. That would have been wonderful in a perfect world. But I actually am just very honored that I was given the father that I was given. I remember having to come home from school to do chores before, I trained for basketball. I actually was also a track and cheerleader, but we had certain chores we had to do. I mean, being a family of 5 with no mother in the house, and my dad was a military man, everything had to be ironing, and ironing was up to here. I mean, it was like we ironed the sheets, we ironed the underwear, we ironed everything. It was that, but that was just military. And my father was, very old school, very traditional. So dinner on the table was meat, potatoes, salad, dessert, coffee perking in the percolator. That was just the way it was. We really, because of our situation, we stretched food. We learned how to make food to be able to make it into something else the next day, or add, as silly as it sounds, add little pieces of bread to ground meat and that kind of stuff, because there just wasn't a lot of funds. We baked a lot of things. We grew gardens, vegetables, that type of thing. So we always utilized money in the best respect. But very good memories. I don't look at those as anything as bad memories. I still do it to this day. I have a garden. I still have a garden of vegetables and potatoes and watermelon and herbs and all types of things. So believe it or not, everything has kind of been passed down. So I look at them as good memories.
تي تايم. أنا فليحة حسن، شاعرة من العراق، وهذه قصتي.
كلين بالعربي شوكولاتة.
شوكولاتة. The man, he controlled everything. For me, I was fighting for everything to building myself as a poet. أنا أول امرأة كتبت الشعر في مدينة النجف حينما أصدرت أول مجموعة شعرية لي عام 1991 بعنوان لأنني فتاة، وأول امرأة كتبت شعر للأطفال في العراق في عام 2012 حينما أصدرت مجموعة حارس الأحلام للأطفال. لدي 21 كتاب في الشعر، بالقصة، بالمسرح، في النقد الأدبي، و3 روايات، وأيضا حاصلة على عدة جوائز عراقية وعربية أيضا وعالمية. تعبت يدي من هز جذع نخيلكم، ما حلمت بأن قمحا قد تساقط في يدي، ما كان طعما سائغا للشرب ما جئت به، ما بالي هذه الخيل تنزف صاهلة إذ ما رأتني. مثل كل العراقيين أنا كنت مهددة، وطبعا التهديد يكون تهديد شخصي وأيضا تهديد بشكل عام. احنا العراقيين نطمح للسلام دائما، لكن لما نشوف اسمك في قائمة مطالبين بالموت أو مطالبين لجماعة معينة بالقتل، وأيضا يجيك تهديد شخصي من خلال عائلتك أو أسباب خاصة جدا أنا ما أحب أطرحها هنا، فيكون من الصعب جدا أن تعيش بأمان، وأن تعيش حتى تتصالح مع نفسك في هاي اللحظة. دائما تكون قلق، ودائما تكون قلق على مستقبلك أنت ومستقبل أولادك. هذا هو الأمر اللي خلاني أترك كل شيء، أترك بيتي وأترك المدينة اللي عشت بيها وترعرعت بيها وتنفست هواها، وأترك كل هاي الأشياء الجميلة الرائعة، حتى ذكرياتي تركتها، وكل اللي جمعته يعني حتى كتبي. أنا كان عندي كتب هائلة جدا واشتريتها بفلوسي الخاصة، كلها هاي تركتها في سبيل أنه أنا أحمي نفسي وأحمي مستقبل أولادي الصغار، وأحاول قدر الإمكان أنه أعيشهم في بيئة مسالمة، بيئة تطمح للأمان، أشعر بها أنا وأولادي بالأمان، لا أكثر ولا أقل.
The very first year that I worked in real estate, I made $18,000, and I thought, oh my good God, something I love to do. I can't afford to live off of this. I might as well go flip burgers at McDonald's. So I started to do all the things everybody else didn't want to do, which was knock on doors. I didn't sit in the office like everybody else did, and I did kind of take a look around at everybody that was working, and I'm going, okay, is this what I'm going to look like in 10 years? Because they were a little overweight, a little lazy, just waited for the phone to ring. So I was the one that did everybody's open houses, and so I was kind of like an assistant to an awful lot of people, because I thought, this is something I know I'm going to be really great at. I just got to be out there to do it. And I had to prove, because there's a pretty good amount of good real estate agents already. And we had a little bit of segregation back then. There was the Jewish, there was the Lebanese, there was the, and I was probably one of the youngest realtors at the time. So I just worked really hard and did the things they didn't want to do. I worked Saturdays and Sundays. We were starting out. My husband was starting his own business. We were both working really, really hard, to succeed. I always knew I was never going to live the life that at 16 I finally realized, that we didn't have the money. I was going to be able to put food on the table, be able to, have a few things that I didn't have when I was a kid. And then I started working with a real estate developer that only had worked with one realtor ever there. And no, he did not. That's not true. He worked with several realtors, whoever would sell the houses. When I met him, we worked so well together that pretty soon he would only work with me. Then I started building houses. But I only built one at a time. I never got greedy. And I thought, you have to get this one sold beforehand. What then succumbed to a fact that we started selling houses before the footings were out of the ground. We had become such a good working group. And then I had actually got a call from a very important person from Sioux City, Iowa, Jewish woman that had never worked with anybody besides a Jewish realtor. And she called me on the phone and said, Joan, I want you to sell my house. And I literally went, yes, I've made it. And from then on, it was history.
نهاية 2010 2011 تركت العراق ورحت على تركيا. صراحة الموضوع إنه تركيا غالية جدا ماديا، ما قدرت أتحملها. إضافة إلى ذلك إنه أنا امرأة ما عندي لغة تركية ممكن أتعامل ويا الأتراك، لأنهم الأتراك ما يتعاملون غير بلغتهم، اللغة التركية هي الرسمية الوحيدة. أضاف إلى ذلك أنه لم أحصل على عمل في ذاك الوقت. الشيء الآخر عندهم نوع من التعالي الكبير، وخاصة بالنسبة للناس الأغراب عنهم، يعني يعتبروهم درجة ثانية، وكثيرا ما كانوا يعني أجد هذا سوء التعامل من عندهم. هذا الأمر هو اللي خلاني، إضافة إلى الجو البارد، يعني جو بارد جدا، خاصة في المدينة اللي كنت أنا عايشة بها اللي هي أفيونكر سهاري. إضافة إلى ذلك أنه أنا كنت أقاتل من أجل أن أدخل أولادي بالمدرسة، مو من أجل أن يتعلمون اللغة التركية، وإنما بس حتى أخليهم دافين يتمتعون بالدفء أطول فترة ممكنة. هذا الموضوع كله خلاني أروح وأبحث عن كيف يعني ما نقول أهرب، ولكن كيف أذهب إلى مدينة أبعد من تركيا. فسمعت عن اليوان، قدمت أوراقي لهناك، بعد ذلك اتصلوا بينا وقالوا إنه أنتم مقبولين من أمريكا. الشهر الثامن 2012 جيت على أمريكا، على نيوجيرسي. استقبلتنا مجموعة جميلة ورائعة من الأمريكان، وبما بهم عراقية كانت تشتغل في المنظمة. أخذونا على المنظمة هناك في حالة ترحيب. وأذكر أنه أول يوم، مو أول يوم، ولا الأسبوع الأول من جيت لهنا، زهراء بنتي تمرضت مرض. بس من هذا اليوم قررت أنه أتعلم اللغة، لأنه اللغة صارت بالنسبة لي مو مجرد للمتعة وبس التواصل، لا، وإنما هي اللغة هنا ضرورية جدا، وخاصة أنه أنا عندي أولاد 2 يعني معي. فهذا الموضوع اللي خلاني أنه لازم يوميا أعلم نفسي على اللغة.
So during your travels, were you still writing?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, you said
There,
of course.
yeah, I wrote one novel there when I was there. Of course, I wrote many poems, and also one novel I finished there, and it's called "I Hate My City." It got published in Iraq.
Okay.
It's my friend. She helped me to publish this poem. When I was in teenage, I remember my principal school, she came to us and she's gathered us together. She said, I'm talking about 1980.
Okay.
She said, our government, decided to shut down the school or close all the school until the war is end. But the war never end. Like it's still, it spent 8 years. In this moment, I started writing hard, writing about war, about why we have this war, and we're supposed to have, but I never, all these poem and this story, I kept it on me, there is no way you can say or write poem or stories about this situation and publish it.
Okay.
There's no way.
Was that?
That's meaning, because during Saddam regime, you can say no, or even you can whisper in his name, because he is everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I can't imagine myself write something against him or to him,
Okay. As a woman writer, were you accepted or rejected? What was the atmosphere?
The man, he control everything, control the women, control the culture, control everything. For me, I was fighting for everything to building myself as a poet or a writer.
I became a philanthropist. It was happenstance. It wasn't like it was planned to be that way. I think as things grew for me and I became more fortunate, it was more important to me to give back. And so it just kind of I kind of evolved into that. I don't think I ever really planned to be a philanthropist. I think it just became me. It just became who I was. It was easy for me to ask for funds, ask for donations, because I was always very giving. So some people find it very hard to make that phone call, hard to make that knock on the door. I never did, because people would always ask the question, what are you going to give? It was very difficult to ask me that question, because they already knew that I was in the community and I was out there and I was, you know, touching lives and making a difference. So I didn't set out to do it. It just happened, and I think it's been one of the most things I'm probably proud of besides my children.
So why Promises to Kids?
Well, it's really about domestic, anything domestic. So Promises to Kids is foster youth. So I really do anything that's domestic, anything to do with families, geriatrics, that type of thing. Promises to Kids is an organization, nonprofit organization, that helps foster youth, approximately 3,000 in the San Diego area, to give them the tools and developmental skills to be, you know, successful in society. Promises to Kids approached me. I'd already been working with Voices for Children, which is representatives at the judicial level. This is, we actually put kids through school, you reunite families, this type of thing. So they got in touch with me, and you know, it's people that have been displaced or obviously abused, neglected children. We do a lot of work with them, educational, giving them the tools to, you know, to get back on their feet, to go to school, interact with, or get back with their families who they might have been separated from. So it's a personal thing. It's family. Family is very important to me. I have, you know, 4 wonderful kids of my own, and it's kind of how I was raised. My dad was the same way. He just always, family was very important. Dinner was very important, just these types of things. So it's bringing families back together and working with families to get out there and know that they have hope, and, you know, that their dreams will come true. Very, very proud of what I do. I am. I get the number that breaks our goal. That's what makes me the happiest.
فقلت يوما ما راح يكتبون مقالة عني في مجلة أوبرا.
I think you have to go out with a bang.
So are you so excited for tonight to finally be here?
I really am. It's up until the point I don't get too excited. Everybody always thinks that, you know, it's, you know, beforehand, but it's really not, because it's a lot of work. But watching the setup and doing the setup and the sound and the light and everything last night that's when you start to get excited. I didn't sleep hardly a wink. It's really about raising money. At the end of the day, it's about how much money you can raise. I'm just as happy getting here, and I'm just as happy when it's over and I get the number that breaks our goal. That's what makes me the happiest. Promises to Kids, I started the gala 10 years ago. It was a really strange call. We were just getting ready to go to the Bahamas, and I got a call from a gentleman that had always run my fundraisers, and he said, you know, we need a place to host their very first gala. And I was like, well, I'll get back to you when I get back in town. And then the CEO called me on the phone, and she said, we don't have time to wait. We need to decide whether we're going to do this or not. And have another gala after you have 5 or 6 a year, it was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna do that? And I just said, yes, okay, of course I'll do this.
And whether it's $100, because we're gonna go down that low, or whether it's $100,000, what can you do to never allow a foster youth to feel unloved, unsupported, or unworthy?
$50,000 right there. 25,000. Anybody? 25,000. Sold it right there. The guitar is yours. $30,000.
Everybody else is smiling, man. Their smiles don't fade. You don't even wonder why. You just don't think that way. Maybe you and me got
I guess the hardest thing really is how do we ingratiate the Western reader?
Yeah.
You know, so it's the translation. You know, it's going to be the most integral thing is translating it so it's palatable to the Western reader.
Yes.
But overall, these are stories, whether it's poetry or short stories, that really need to be heard and read by we who formulate our opinions.
Yeah. ويليام بيترز هو واحد من الأصدقاء المقربين عندي الآن. وجدت إنه عنده كتاب، مو كتاب وإنما هي مجلة تصدر كل شهر اسمها The Year of Poet. فقدمت 3 قصائد مترجمة لي باللغة الإنجليزية وCV وصورة، والحمد لله تم قبولها واستضافني في المجلة. بعد ذلك صار عندنا مشروع إنه ينشر لي قبر جماعي كتابي المترجم، مجموعة قصصية مترجمة باللغة الإنجليزية للغة الإنجليزية. بعد ذلك تم التعاون وياه بإظهار أنثولوجيا أصوات من العراق، وهي هاي الأنثولوجيا احتوت على 20 شاعر، كل شاعر عنده 3 قصائد باللغة العربية والإنجليزية معا. For example, this story I wrote is mass graves about my cousin. He's missing in Iraqi war, the Iran-Iraqi war, and we didn't find him, and like until you know the Saddam gun, and we find him in mass graves, just his bones.
I know the stories are profound.
Yeah, and also all these stories talking about my experience as a mom there, as a woman, and it's real stories, you know, from my experience. Because I'm like, I can write stories if I don't live this story, or because I need to live it, feel it, you know. Not just, I'm not a tailor, you know. I can write doing some stuff, you know.
Right. Well, I applaud your voice because I know that even though we did mass graves just recently, last year, I had the opportunity to attend, you know, a thing over in the Deptford Library with you, and you told your story.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, just honestly, it was grounding because, you know, we don't see what you have seen. It's very, very real for you. For us, it would be a nightmare to even think that we have to endure, you know, a war on our land and things of that nature. And, you know, when you told the story, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
So how'd you guys think it went last night?
I think it went really well. The turnout was great.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Did you fall in love last night, Emily?
Maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Anybody I know?
No.
No? Kind of a lead singer? Well, I thought it went really well. I'm excited to find out exactly what we raised, but I have no idea yet. Anybody got any speculation?
Do you guys think
there were a lot of big donations?
I think we exceeded last year. I'd like to say we're past 1.5, but that's just me kind of trying to add up in my head. Raise the Paddle was, I think, well over 700,000.
Just to raise the paddle?
I think so, because we had 3 or 4 100s. We went in with 100 anonymously.
It wasn't very anonymous.
It wasn't very anonymous? Well, it was an anonymous donor.
Well, 2 different people said, was that your mom? So I'm pretty sure it wasn't that anonymous.
I'm going to tell you it wasn't your mom. I'm anonymous a lot of times, but this one wasn't me.
I thought it was cool what Tanya said about, like, if they could not turn down any kids, it'd be the first city in the United States to, like, what'd she say about
in the country where foster kids would have 100% chance of going to college.
Yeah, like not turn down.
And doing the vocational college. And then how about the 83 cents that out of $1 that actually goes towards the kids? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's a high percentage.
It's a pretty high percentage for a nonprofit.
Promises to Kids has really become a family tradition. We've been doing it at the house for 10 years. So I've been doing it since I was 18, and hosting it has just really instilled great values in all 4 of us. I think it's a really great organization, and I've loved working with them. I used to work with Camp Connect when I was in high school, and Camp Connect is great because a lot of foster kids get split up. So they're not with their biological siblings in their placements, but at Camp Connect they can actually come together and be with their siblings once a month, which is great for them so they don't feel the same level of disconnect that they would normally just in the foster system.
There's families of 4 and 5 that all get split up. All 5 kids go somewhere else. We did have one board member now like 6 or 7 years ago that took 4 foster kids, all never had any kids, and took all siblings.
That's so cool.
That's very cool.
I can't imagine, having to leave your siblings at the same time as like being taken away from your parents or whatever.
Everything has changed.
Yeah.
And it's weird because everybody that wants foster kids wants the little kids. They don't. The older kids are the tough ones to place.
Yeah.
So they're the ones
and
that
siblings. Yeah,
and siblings because they're the ones that get bounced around a lot. So we have a lot of success stories. It's hard to kind of pick one because every year we have somebody up there doing something, and almost everybody has followed through and done something, whether it's volunteer work or getting a full-time position at Promises, which is great.
Yeah, a lot of them go into social work to try and fix the systemic issue.
Believe it or not, a lot of foster parents think there's money involved.
Well, they do. They pay them.
Yeah, but it's a stipend. It's such a little bit of money.
But they don't give it to the kids.
But they don't give it to the kids.
Yeah.
So we're constantly in and out, kind of monitoring that and making sure. You find out pretty quickly. Kids don't talk much, though, because they've already been abused and afraid, so they don't talk much. So it's really up to you to kind of read between the lines. There's not enough really social workers out there per kid. I can't even tell you what the amount is. I don't even remember anymore, but it's like one social worker per like 65 kids. That's just absolutely impossible to do a good job doing that. Yeah. So it's,
Ever since I was little, my mom has really, taught us to give back, to be generous and think about others, to try to step out of our own shoes and go into someone else's, and also just to say thank you and be thankful for what we have and what other people, do for us.
I'm glad you had a good time this year because I think really this is my last year. I think 10 years is good, don't you think?
It's good, but you also say that every year.
I say a lot of things every year, but this time I really mean it.
Do you actually really mean it, or are you just saying you really mean it?
Kind of like I say about Christmas. You're only getting one Christmas present. This is my last year.
So it's not your last year.
This is truly my last year. I think you have to go out with a bang. And I think we went out with a bang.
You definitely went out with a bang.
Yeah, so I think so.
من حوالي شهرين استلمت بريد إلكتروني من الصحفية كيت مورغان موجود به أنه مجلة أوبرا يحبون استضافتي أو كتابة مقال عني أو مقابلة. فطبعا سألتني شنو رأيك بالموضوع. بصراحة أنا قلت لها طبعا هاي فرصة كبيرة جدا وأنا كنت سعيدة بهذا الاختيار. من صارت المقابلة وياي كانت متحمسة جدا للموضوع وأنا أيضا كنت متحمسة جدا أيضا للموضوع. تم إجراء اللقاء والحمد لله. بعد ذلك قالت إنه مديرة التحرير أيضا إنه هي تريد تحكي وياك مباشرة. فلما حكت وياي قالت فليحة إنه أنا معجبة تماما بكتابتك وأنا من المتابعين جدا إليك ومبهورة بالقصص والأشعار اللي شفتها عنك لما سويت بالجوجل وإحنا سعيدين جدا إنه إحنا نستضيفك في مجلة أوبرا. لما اشتريت الكتاب المجلة وهذا الموضوع هو أسعدني لأنه حلو إنه أنت تشوف نفسك في مكانة عالية والناس تنظر لك بنوع من خلينا نقول هو هذا الأمر. بصراحة أني ما أخفيكم أنه أنا أول يوم أجيت إلى أمريكا وكنت كان المنظمة أخذتنا على والمارت. فلما شفت مجلة أول ما وقعت عيني كانت على مجلة أوبرا فقلت يوما ما راح يكتبون مقالة عني في مجلة أوبرا. هذا أعتقد كان نوع من التنبؤ أو إحساس أو خلينا نقول استشعار للمستقبل وفعلا هذا تحقق.
We've got our own set of ways here at Gateway 2000. You see it in every computer we build.
Hey, hand me that audio cable, would you?
Gateway started in 1985, and when I met Ted, he had 4 employees, including himself. And he used to actually sell on the phone. He used to package the boxes, and what they started to do was they used to take in Texas Instruments and build the computers. So his grandmother put up a $10,000 CD to get started. So they were actually spending money before they had money. And so they were building their own computers. And Mike Hammond, who he started with, his partner would actually build the computers. Ted would sell the computers, they'd box the computers, and then they'd ship them out. It literally exploded into this, it was the fastest growing company in North America. And we had 4 people when I met him, and we had 22,000 people, you know, at the end, and it was unbelievable. It was just, and there's a town of 85, 90,000 people. So going anywhere was absolutely near impossible. On the day that we actually cut the ribbon, we were actually digging ground for the second building. I would actually do all the interviews because managing was not his gig, was not his style. He was definitely the marketer. So he could go out and market the computers all day long. He did the most famous ads. I mean, the hysterical, the cow spots, the whole bit. And I obviously was going by Peschel, and so I would take them around real estate, and I would kind of interview them, and they wouldn't even know they were being interviewed. And then by the time they were dropped off for their, you know, or their interview at Gateway, I'd had talked to Ted and say yes, no, whatever, what have you. So I'd give him the feedback. And then I actually built corporate housing for Gateway. That was really kind of my involvement in the Gateway experience. It was just to really put it all together in a nice, neat little package for them so they felt comfortable when they moved there. In terms of anything to do with training the Gateway, I had really nothing to do with that. Mine was more interviewing the people, setting up their homes, making them feel comfortable. So it was a little above the real estate end of things, but I actually really loved doing it because I kind of like to talk, and I like to know people. I get educated by listening to other people and and they were coming from all different parts of the world. So to me, that was very interesting. So that was my kind of part in the Gateway existence. So after we reached our successes and our goals, we became kind of the it couple. Pretty much all over the world, I can say all over the world because we had stores in Dublin, Ireland, we had stores everywhere, little Gateway pop-up stores. So we became the it couple, and it was a mail order business, and so that was very unusual. So when all this happened, it was like, it happened so fast, it was in a blink of an eye, that I really gotta say that we grew up so fast that I don't know when it happened, it just happened. And all of a sudden you were kind of forced into this world that was kind of the unknown. You know, he was Entrepreneur of the Year, you know, and we were in Washington, D.C., and he was getting all kinds of different awards. It was just very unusual to us, but for somehow we fit the part at a very young age. So we grew up together. You know, we grew up really well together. We were just a great partnership in how we did it and how we accomplished that. Well, I'm really proud of both of you. Well, actually, all 4 of the kids.
تقولين بالعربي شوكولاتة.
It's funny how people think that it doesn't affect all walks of life. Raising kids was my biggest success. I always felt, you know, when I was younger that it was going to be whatever I did for a living. But I found, you know, after having 4 children, my biggest success was them, and my biggest importance was them, and what I gave to them, and how I treated them, and how they treated others. So for me, it was I had to teach them kindness, and because of their very fortunate life, was to keep their feet planted on the ground and to remember who they were. It was not what they had, it was who they were. I don't know, guys, I did what I did for the year. What are you guys gonna do this year?
What do you mean, what are we gonna do?
For, you know, giving back,
Oh, we both give back.
You're not gonna give anything back?
No, I said we both do. I mean, I do the crisis text line, so I respond to people who are in crisis or depressed, anxious, on the computer, and Haley does her Right Girl thing.
I volunteer for Right Girl, so I mentor girls from inner city communities who want to write, whether it's books or screenplays or music, but they don't have the ability or the means to make that happen. So I meet with them, I do tutoring, mentoring, and we do workshops once a month.
What made you decide to do that?
Well, I wanted to volunteer, and I wanted to do something that was related to the field of mental health, because that's really where my interests are. So I actually heard about it through a former therapist of mine, Dr. Moutier, who actually, she's the head of suicide prevention for the country, or for the government, and she actually helped set up the training for that, and she recommended me to it, so. Yeah.
Well, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Dr. Moutier works pretty much for the White House. She was hired by the White House, so
yeah.
It's not a bad...
She's really cool.
It's not bad on your resume if you ever need a job or anything.
Yeah, no, she's a really cool person. I'd love to have a career like hers.
We always had them volunteer. They worked at the gospel mission. They served food on the day of Thanksgiving. All these types of things that maybe families that aren't as fortunate as ours haven't done. We just felt like it meant something to let them know there's less fortunate people out there. And it was a rude awakening. To this day, I'm so very proud of each and every one of them, how well-rounded they are. They all volunteer still, even though 2 are still in college, 2 have graduated. Well, 2 have graduated. 1 went back to grad school, but they still volunteer. They still give back. They still help me with the gala events. They still participate in the underprivileged. So they haven't lost who they are. And I think, and I hope, when they raise their kids, some of what I have taught them and what their father has taught them will pass on to their kids and my grandkids. Well, I'm really proud of both of you. Well, actually, all 4 of the kids.
But us mostly.
But you mostly, of course. Because I think giving back is really important. It was instilled in me, obviously, by Grandpa, my dad, who always said, you know, and we were pretty poor growing up, but always said somebody has less. Somebody always has less. So every Christmas we had to give something away, and it had to be in good shape. It couldn't be a ratty toy, it had to be something good. And that was his focus, and it was always to the Salvation Army. And so then mine kind of gravitated, and it just got, I gave every year, and then it just got bigger and bigger as, you know, I succeeded. Wow. And it was always the Salvation Army. And then when I did the actual donation for the Salvation Army, I named, you remember that, I named the Door of Hope after him.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, that's where he always gave to, and being in the military, that's Salvation Army, and then we're connected. So I'm really proud of all of you. All 4 of you. The two missing children as well.
Gigi and his wife. Yes. كمان شوكولاتة.
تقولين بالعربي شوكولاتة.
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 شوكولاتة meaning we call candy chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Yes, chocolate. Like this, you know? إيميلي فازلر هي الصديقة المقربة جدا إلي. تحاول إنه تتعلم اللغة العربية وخصوصا اللهجة العراقية.
How do I say you ate?
أكل. أكل.
But that means you already did it.
No. أني
أكلت.
أني أكلت meaning in past time, but أني هسه دا آكل. دائما نحاول نحكي بالإنجليزي وباللهجة العراقية الدارجة. هذا الموضوع مفرح جدا وجميل جدا، خاصة لما نشوف لك أمريكي يحكي بلغة عراقية جميلة، تحس بشيء آخر، يعني كأنما هو مخلوق جديد. Hi, Mr. Yugi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm good, thank you. You want to buy this?
The kids are gonna be happy with that.
I know. They love that. You know that.
330s.
Okay, 330s. Have 5 here.
Thank you for helping me with the Arabic words today.
Aww.
My teacher. I appreciate it.
That's wonderful.
I'm from America.
Yeah.
I'm learning Arabic.
Yeah.
You're from
Iraq, and he's from India. That's a great thing for about America. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Yes.
See
You
ya.
too.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
You too. Thank you so much. No.
Push you right side.
I've been involved with domestic violence in terms of working with the women, placement of women, and actually building safe houses for them.
It's wonderful that I get this opportunity to see you
It's good to see you.
Get to update you on everything that's happening with the YWCA and our Becky's House program for domestic violence survivors. You have been such an integral part of us being able to offer these programs for so many years.
No, thank you. That's so nice to hear.
And we started the first emergency shelter in 1978. We now have 3 transitional housing properties, real estate, apartment communities, as you know, because you and I met on the second one during that building.
I remember that. It seems like 100 years ago to me. I don't know about you, but it does to me.
And it was only 2007.
Right.
But that is 11 years ago. So we have 3 of those. We have an interim shelter now, helping women and children coming in and escaping domestic violence that runs, 60 to 90 days to 120 days to enhance our emergency shelter. And we also have a program now where we're helping individuals with rental assistance. So we're helping them find apartments of their own.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah. That's good to hear. So expansion.
Expansion. So they were comprehensive programs before, but we have continued to expand that. And as you know, more than anybody, housing is so important to help women get out of domestic violence relationships. They can't be empowered while they're dealing with abuse in the home.
Right.
And it's so important to get them into housing so that we can provide those other services like legal support and counseling and case managers who help them rebuild their lives and get to successful outcomes. So all of that is very comprehensive. We're working with them regularly to really help them develop those next steps and where they're going.
Well, that's so good to hear. You guys do a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
We just need more of you.
We wouldn't be able to do all of those things. And the community wouldn't be able to do all those things without your help and your support and what you do for us. I mean, this is all a huge team effort. We all play our part.
That's right. There was a story that I was told that actually really broke my heart about this little boy whose father had abused his mother. And when he first moved into the house, he was carrying around this little box. And he would carry it around, and for the longest time would never tell anybody what was in that box. And after being there for quite some time, he finally decided, and he was young, he was like 5 years old. He was a young little boy. And it just resonated with me how fortunate it was when he finally let us know what was in that box. It was a bulk of his mother's hair that his father had pulled out of his mother's head, and he was hoping to reattach it to her when he was joined back with her again. That was, it gives me the chills thinking about it. That was the day that changed my life in terms of domestic violence. And then it was after that I built a few more domestic houses, then Family Justice Center, which is a center that actually has built now in 49 countries, where you actually, it's a one-stop shop. If you're being hurt, the woman can go there, the child is taken care of. There's a doctor there to check the children, there's a doctor there to check the mother or the husband, because there is, abuse against men as well. There was people there to talk, social workers, to talk them through where they needed to be placed. So it was a one-stop shop. I'm very, very proud of the Family Justice Center as well, because like I said, it's been replicated now in 49 countries. People didn't want to be attached to that. They didn't want to be attached, and I was like, I'll do it. I just signed up for it. It's like, I'll do it. And I'm so proud of that. I'm so very proud of that. And that has never left anything I've ever done, is in being in terms of working with women. You meet a lot of different varieties of people, a lot of scared women, a lot of scared kids. Nobody knows where these places exist. How Becky's House got started was a phone call into the Jingle Ball, which was held in downtown San Diego every year. And a woman called in on a radio station and said she was being abused. And literally, they televised it. And the woman's name was Becky. And so that's the name, that's why the house was named Becky's House. But she called in and she couldn't find a way to get out. And it was a talk show between 2 men. And they talked her into going to a shelter. So There's a lot of those stories. There's so many I can't even tell that have affected my life. And that's one reason why in everything that I do, whether I change or veer off into some other focus, domestic violence will always be a part of my foundation and a part of me and a part of my life. It's funny how people think that it doesn't affect all walks of life. They think that it's just an income base, if you're a low-income base family, and that's not the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
And that was a rude awakening for a lot of people that I reached out to. They were saying, you know, you'd be surprised how many people are very well-to-do and it's going on behind closed doors. So it's not, it's, you know, it has no, money has no impact on this. Domestic violence is all across the compass.
It absolutely is.
Here she comes.
Tea time.
Of course it's tea time.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
And
I don't know how many times you've been over here, but
sometimes Flea and I go out and drink coffee at a coffee shop and
Starbucks
and trade, listen to each other's poetry and But I've had tea here several times and it tastes so good. And I looked for it in the store. The tea itself had such a good flavor, but I couldn't find it in the store.
This kind of tea. I bought this from August. Please have one. From Arabic store in Philadelphia.
Thank you for that.
Different Arabic store. It's called, this kind of tea is called Ahmed tea.
When you were showing your new poetry book.
That's the first one.
Yes. Were there many women there, or was it just men there?
First of all, there's a long story about this book. This is the first book wrote by a woman in my city. Wow. There is no book before that. One time, my father friend, he came to my home. He came to my home and he said, "I heard from your father you're writing something." I said, "Yeah, I do that." He said, "Can I see?"
Did you see this as poetry?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that's poetry.
You just thought you grand.
Nothing. Yeah. And then he said, he told me, "That's a great thing. You can publish that." I said, "Okay, but how can I do that?" He said, "There is a guy, and also if you want to have a certificate to be in Union of Iraqi Poet and Writer, you will publish your work. Yeah, first." I said, like a book. And I said, "Okay, I will do that." In our traditional, if you get married, they will give you some real gold, like set. You know, it's a necklace, earring, ring, and something like that. You know,
who gives this to you? The husband's family.
Yes, the husband, and you will keep it for emergency. Okay, or you pass it to your son. My emergency to publish my book. Yes. أن تكون امرأة ومبدعة وشاعرة في العراق، تعيش في العراق، أعتقد أنه هذه شجاعة كبيرة منها، لأن المرأة بشكل عام هي امرأة مبدعة، لأنه يكفي أنها خلق الرجل منها. هذا الموضوع أهم شيء. لكن وطبعا مع الأسف الشديد بالعراق وبالوطن العربي أعتقد الرجل هو المسيطر تماما، فالمجتمع الذكوري ما ينطي للمرأة قدرة على أنه تواصل إبداع. لكن هنا مختلف، هنا نجد المرأة منفتحة، يعني الحياة كلها كأنما هي تمثلها المرأة فقط. يعني أنا أحيانا أستغرب لما أمشي بالشارع أو يعني أشوف القيادة السيارة كلها، يعني أقصد الباصات كلها المرأة، العمل بشكل عام هو للمرأة، الحقوق أول حق الطفل بعدين المرأة من ثم الرجل، لكن هناك حق المرأة مسلوب.
What does America mean to me? It means freedom. It means the access to do anything that you possibly ever dream of. It means having rights to go anywhere you want, be anything you want to be, choose your path in life. In other countries, there's limits on what you can do. If you can vote, if you can drive a car, if you can, have a drink, if you can, whatever you want to do, if you can go to college. I think that all is different here. I think you can achieve anything you want in America at any level, man or woman.
أمريكا وفرت لي فرص عديدة، خاصة فرص إبداعية عديدة. الآن لما تحس بنفسك إنه أنت مطمئن وتشعر بنوع من السلام ومن الأمان، تبدي تكتب وتبدع بعيداً عن الرقيب، بعيداً عن تدخل الآخر، بعيداً عن القلق في إنه ماذا سيحذف وماذا سيضاف.
My motto in life is to live your life to the fullest degree, whatever that is, and to always give back and never forget who you are.